Would you like to see it explored further in Star Trek, or do you think it's like, it's a neat thing, they've covered it, we can...
I feel like we had some jokes during the reaction, but it's like, yeah, that's finally. What's the plot?
Yeah, it's like, am I taking a quiz on this?
Yes, do I need to be taking notes?
Captain's log, stardate 41463.9.
Back to the captain's log. Feels good.
We have been asked by the Federation to visit a group terraforming Elyria 3.
Terraforming? Isn't that what they did in Wrath of Khan / Search for Spock on that planet?
Yeah. Lieutenant Yar, hailing frequencies.
Hailing frequencies
Wild.
open, sir.
Elyria 3 base, this is Captain Picard of the Starship Enterprise.
Look at Picard with the hip pose.
We were a little behind, but we're back on schedule. And I'd like to hope we'd be allowed to maintain that schedule.
We alarm him for some reason.
All right.
But if there is anything that we can do to help, you and your staff are very welcome aboard for a change of scene, rest.
Nice ass shot of Riker there. Couldn't cut the camera to another angle.
He is concealing something. It's more than just being too busy. Your announcement about coming down has sent him almost to a point of panic.
Unless you're absolutely refusing his permission to land at your station, prepare to receive our away team. As you wish.
Like, I can still see you when you mute yourself. I know you guys are talking about me.
Someone that tense can be very unpredictable. Stay on your toes, number one.
Like the background people.
Yeah, getting to work.
That was undoubtedly Troy's best scene so far. Like, that's how you use her. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Getting the hang of it, hopefully. Hopefully they're getting the hang of it, not just a one-off.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, if she did nothing else in this episode, I'm satisfied with her character's contribution.
That's enough,
you
yeah.
know?
Not every time, does every character need to go down and be heavily involved. Like, she did her job there.
Yeah.
That's it.
Just like sit next to the captain and, translate things a little bit more for him.
Yeah, that explains her seat right next to him, Do that for any conversation with any planet. Oh, new suits. Do I look good in this? How does he really feel? I hope Michael Dorn as Worf is collecting a good paycheck for standing around in all these.
Yeah, dude.
It's such a shame. And the fact that he went through all that makeup, too. Like, every time.
Yeah, I'm sure he'll get more involved eventually. It might take a while, but...
He's paying his dues.
Why him, but no one else?
For a brand new show.
It's an all-new crew. Okay, some shitty CGI.
What are you hiding?
How much do you know about the process?
Theories, reports, but nothing firsthand.
Oh, wonderful. Let me show you what we do.
Sounds like all of her lines are ADR'd for some reason.
They're too secretive, but she is as open as she appears.
What we're doing is so exciting, so inspiring.
All right, they're being kind of risky.
Right mass and gravity, a correct rate of rotation, and a balanced day and night. The planet must also be without life or the prospect of life developing naturally. The Federation determines if that's so. Then, we take over.
Oh, they said the same thing in Wrath of Khan, so that's cool.
Yeah, I'm wondering if there's going to be any direct references.
We're just about to begin pumping and filtering the water, removing the salt, oxygenating, and replacing. Next, we introduce microorganisms.
But it's nice that they have like a whole process that takes a long time instead of just, a device that it blows up.
Yeah, yeah. It sounds like they're doing it like the natural way too, like starting with microorganisms.
Mm-hmm.
I'm Director Mundell, and I'm sorry about having been so abrupt during our initial contact.
I hear you. Tone it down.
And there will be no miracle unless Mallinson here gets the hydraulic probes back online.
Why is everyone ripping this guy?
Commander!
What is it, Deanna?
Mallinson. He's in trouble!
Oh my god, is that the guy everyone was just ripping on?
Yeah, well, she wasn't really needed there because they would have heard him literally a second later. So the terraforming thing hit him.
Oh!
Way to get past those TV sensors. Just have it blurred a little bit, out of focus.
Data, we have your section completely powered down. Benson has just locked the master servo motor drive system, so it should be safe in there now.
I'm going in.
I will go with you.
Transporter room, this is Lieutenant Yar. 2 to beam up to sickbay.
Oh, damn.
Damn, the guy was ready with the trigger
Yep.
finger.
I want to go. We should be with him. Kurt, please come too.
Transporter room, this is Commander Riker. Beam up 4 at my coordinates.
Not gonna leave Bjorn all by himself. He wasn't even there to hear this. Where'd he go?
This is
Oh,
intriguing.
Jordy's still there. Okay.
Okay.
I've seen malfunctions, but this is almost as if the laser drill seemed to operate with a will. I am now running the base drilling program.
Yeah.
Jordy, servos on.
They are off. Data, what's happening?
Too much to explain.
I wonder, is it someone hacked into it or a mind of its own?
AI drill.
And that's obviously what happened to that guy.
It's not working again. We gotta get this door open. Data, we can't get in.
We know it's gonna be like that scene in the Firefly movie. Door opens and just shows Data, just, you know, drill destroyed.
Away team, now! What is happening? I'm gonna...
Lieutenant Commander Data. No need to beam me up, sir. The situation is under control.
Let's go! He's like, what did you do to my drill?
I spent years building this. Don't try to kill me, sorry.
Seems we are becoming detectives, number one.
He does like being a detective.
Yeah, go get your Dixon Hill costume.
It'd be funny, just out of frame for some reason. He already has the hat.
Yeah, it was just like under his seat.
Yeah, I've been waiting for this.
Those flashes are almost musical. I see color variations and rhythms and...
I love this shot.
One thing I have to say about every episode, I don't see a lot of repeated shots. But like even on the bridge, like there's a couple of the last episode I noticed where like, oh, that's different.
I wonder if it's because they've really mixed up the directors a lot. It doesn't seem like there's been a ton of repeats. I'm sure there's been some, but it seems like it's a kind of a new name pretty often.
I dig it. Give everyone a chance to.
Yeah, I mean, it's in their first season, you know, test out who they like, who they don't.
Since we're dealing with a fundamental question, let's use the basic scientific method. Observe, theorize, and attempt to prove it. Activate.
What's Wesley doing there?
What's that hum?
It started after Dr. Crusher ordered the scanner to magnify.
Computer demagnify. Resume normal scan. Step back again. It's us.
Yes, we're causing it. Why?
Unknown.
Like in the office, whenever Michael would get closer to Stanley and his heart rate would go up.
Yeah, just...
Computer, magnify. What is the magnification?
2,500 diameters.
I don't know if you knew this, but that's Nurse Chapel. You haven't said it in this reaction, so I didn't know if you knew that.
What do you mean a life form? What life form? Federation of Recon Expedition certified Velara 3 lifelets.
Dr. Crusher is still making her determination. Mr. Mandel, you know the Prime Directive.
Oh boy.
Are you saying that unknowingly defied it?
That's what I have to find out. You're a man obsessed with what you do. Who knows what an obsessed man will do to keep going?
I create life. I don't take it.
So theory is this guy knew about this, but he's like, screw it. We worked so hard on this. We're just going to terraform it anyway.
How do you read the designer?
She's possessed of highly abstracted reality. Lovely visions, little data. But you might do better than I.
Gonna send Riker down for his riz.
Here we go.
Did you really find a life form?
Well, the debate is still going on in some quarters, but I think so, yes.
What's it like?
We have nothing we can compare it with. It's microscopic. It seems colonial simple. But it's inorganic, which is why the recon scouts missed it. It was not your mistake.
So they're basically saying that there was a life form already on the planet, and they would have had to kill it in order to terraform the planet?
Yeah, and I think the guy was willing to go with it, but she didn't know. So like, seemed like some of them knew, some of them didn't.
Yeah, it definitely seems like a, you know, like a corrupt business thing. Like, we've put too much money into this. We can't stop because there's a life form.
Changing.
Don't see anything.
The infrared range is increasing.
Warning. Input overload.
That's a neat little detail. He covered his visor because maybe he can see.
I mean, yeah, we know that he's already in pain.
Translation request being patched.
Translation? From whom?
It's gonna talk?
What's wrong with the translator, sir?
Bridge, this is the captain.
Hard to translate a language that's never been spoken.
Yeah, it's probably trying to figure it out. Wesley, you idiot.
It's trying to communicate with us.
This is interesting. No idea where it's gonna go.
Is this true? You knew there was life on Valara 3?
I knew that there were random energy patterns. Yes, I knew that.
We need a proper court episode.
But you try to keep that knowledge from us.
No!
No. Like this situation, I'm not saying I'm not digging this, but this, like in a court.
Yeah, if he was actually charged with something.
Yeah.
Did you ever feel that these patterns were attempting to communicate?
No, never.
Benson?
At the time, I didn't think so. But now, after hearing what you just said, now, I don't know.
That's tough, because it's like just sparkling, like you're not gonna assume right away that that's intelligent life.
Right, right.
There was no indication of any of this on Valara 3.
Absolutely none.
I hope this species doesn't get like ridiculously smart.
I cannot understand the
When did you get here?
He's mostly been blurred in the background.
Like, I just love like the ideology debate of like, you know, like the simpleness of like whether to terraform this life because it's not, you know.
Yeah, and just the dangers of terraforming in general. Like they thought there was no life there, but it was, you know, there that they couldn't detect it first.
Is it alive?
Probability positive.
I wasn't asking you.
This is Commander Riker. Go ahead.
The backup on the lab seal is fluctuating, sir. I think you should come down here.
Haven't seen that area in a bit. They really shut out engineering out of their show.
Yep.
If that reading is right, there is no seal. Give me lab interior image.
Yes, sir.
Magnify.
Enhance.
And they're loving that enhance.
What if it hits the sick bay or nursery?
Hold off. Impossible, Captain. We haven't got the power.
You know, maybe that wouldn't be happening if Crusher, for some reason, turned on her, you know, her shield generator. Didn't that feel weird? It's like, shields up, like, to cover it. It's like, it wasn't doing anything. It was just making noise.
Ugly, giant,
oh, boy.
bags of mostly water.
Damn, it can finally talk. First thing it does, calls you ugly.
You do not listen.
We didn't hear you. We come in peace.
Ugly bag of mostly water.
You are beautiful to us. All life is beautiful.
Bag in dome did know. Caused much death, made us kill. War is now with you.
War has already begun.
Sir, that chaos when we were studying it in the lab must have been the energy surge of a reproductive cycle. It is now a colony of single cells which organize as a computer. And like any computer,
More is stronger.
Holy shit. Alright.
We have regained visual contact with the lab.
This is a great use of like a small little prop.
Yeah, simple, easy. It's like a little thing like just hanging from a, I don't know, chicken wire.
Floss.
As much as I love, you know, the practical suits, I don't mind a little...
Yeah, you can get creative with it.
Yeah.
Coordinates set, sir.
Energize.
Transporter power being redirected, sir. We are unable to affect it.
You're gonna have to convince it.
environmental systems failed to respond to command, Captain. It appears the microbrain has successfully interfaced with our computers.
Oh boy. Not great.
At this moment, it has the power to destroy this ship and everybody on it. I need your help.
Yeah, couldn't it, in theory, just like suck out the oxygen from the whole Enterprise?
If I wanted to, yeah.
Turn off the gravity?
It's happening again. I think you'd better get in here.
What?
Oh, shit. It evolved.
Our sensors indicate that the microbrain expends a tremendous amount of energy during its reproductive cycle, yet there is no discernible power drain on our own systems.
We found traces of cadmium salts. Now, cadmium is a conduit for converting infrared into electricity.
Meaning the microbrain might be photoelectric.
I like that back and forth between them, too.
Yeah, yeah.
We will send you home to your wet sand. Look out to Riker. Bring up the lights in the lab. Just a bit. It is important that you trust us.
Not yet. You are still too arrogant. Come back 3 centuries, perhaps then we trust.
Calling them primitive.
I hope they make a sequel episode in whatever show is 3 centuries from this.
Riker just takes a bat.
Just goes to the credits. It's like a 20th century wooden baseball bat.
I wish we were able to learn more about them, sir.
In time, Mr. Data, when we are better prepared.
Yeah, they'll all be dead. Maybe you'll be around, Data. I don't know how long you last.
Captain's log, stardate 41464.8. I have declared an indefinite quarantine for Valara 3.
Ending the episode on a captain's log.
I don't know if it needed that. I mean, I
feel like there could have been a better conversation on the bridge to close that out.
I mean, even without it, like, I got the point. Yeah. I don't think that captain's log at the end really added anything. It felt like a Blade Runner narration at the end there.
Yeah.
Are you serious? Where is he?
What is it?
Hey, are you coming to do this?
Coming to do what?
What do you mean? The call to action. We have to tell him to like the video.
Oh my God, I've done that so many times. No one does it. No one cares.
Okay, well, I get that you feel that way, but like, if you tell people to like the video, they like it. I don't know. That's just how people are.
Whatever, man.
So, are you gonna be able to make it?
What? No, I'm not coming.
All right, look, dude. I'm in a tough spot here, but I got you on recording right now. Just at least give me the audio. Tell him to like the video.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Are you serious?
Yeah, just at least give me the audio. You can do something. Come on.
Oh my God. Okay. Ready?
Yeah, go ahead.
Hey, like the video.
So in today's episode, Home Soil, they make a very large reference to terraforming, something that was introduced in the Star Trek TOS movies, Wrath of Khan, Search for Spock, and it was interesting to see them bring back something from not TOS the show, but the movies. What do you think about that?
I like it, and I like it how it didn't it wasn't like an idea, it wasn't a Naked Now. Like, it wasn't like the same thing. It was like a different aspect of terraforming. Like, what if there was life, but we didn't notice it? And like the ideologies, the rights and wrongs of what do we do? It's like the human, like the sludge must flow, like progress versus like this is wrong. They're not like us. We can't communicate. Like, did we even think that it could be life? And just that whole question of it. I appreciate it wasn't like the exact same thing as Wrath of Khan, Search for Spock. Like, I don't know how they would adapt like those stories into one episode, but you get what I'm saying. Like the idea of like terraforming, they just like dug deeper into like, oh, what if that was an issue with terraforming, which I appreciate.
Yeah, I really liked how it didn't bring up terraforming just to tell us the same problems and issues with it. Like in the movies, they were literally instantaneously making a new planet. Like, it took a few minutes.
According to myth, the Earth was created in 6 days. Now, watch out. Here comes Genesis. We'll do it for you in 6 minutes.
They didn't come at it from that angle. They brought a new angle to it of, you know, even though we think that this planet doesn't have intelligent life, what if we can't even tell? And now we're too far along in the process of this terraforming, because it does take a long time in the way they're doing it, that now we're harming this intelligent life, even unwillingly. So it just brought almost like an environmental side to it a little bit, and something different about it. And it also wasn't just a terraforming episode. So overall, I really enjoyed it. What do you think about terraforming just as a concept?
Well, it's been something I've been doing since I've been playing on Halo 3 in the build your own map section, so I'm quite experienced.
Would you like to see it explored further in Star Trek, or do you think it's like, it's a neat thing, they've covered it, we can...
I feel like this episode did a really good job of like covering like the dangers, the risks, and what needs to be done. And one thing this episode does, it's painstakingly explaining the whole process.
Yeah.
Like the first 25 minutes is just an info dump of what happens in what order, to the point where I'm like, what's the plot?
Yeah, it's like, am I taking a quiz on this?
Yes, do I need to be taking notes?
And when the process is complete, we'll have a lush, arable biosphere.
You don't want any human aliens anymore, huh? Well, how about just a couple dots? How about a couple, just a little prop, a circle thing?
I loved it.
Yeah, it was great. It was fine. I didn't need it. It worked. It worked for what it was.
Yeah, and both the practical from those, the alien creatures, and also all the practical stuff we saw on the planet where they were terraforming. All of the lasers and cool stuff down in that planet where they really, it seemed like put a lot of effort into it, which I don't know why I like let it impress me so much, but it does. Like just seeing this practical stuff, I don't know if it's because coming from TOS where I knew everything, they were just like scrapping for everything, right? Like they had no budget trying to make these episodes.
Mhm.
I know TNG probably had a little bit more budget, but I'm still just impressed seeing all this practical stuff, and that was one of the things I enjoyed most about it.
Deanna Troi, like, at probably her best, not her episode, but being useful.
We alarm him for some reason.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like the reason why she's sitting right next to Picard. We had some jokes during the reaction, but it's like, yeah, that's finally, you know what I mean? Like it works there.
I really must get back to work.
I sense deliberate concealment, sir.
Yeah, if her character was exactly what it was in this episode for the rest of the show, I'd be satisfied. I mean, they did it exactly right. They didn't overdo it and make it too cringe. I think this would probably replace the pilot episode as her best episode that's not centered on her.
Really? Wow.
Because even in the pilot, it started to get a little bit like, okay, they're doing the same thing over and over and over again with these, because you're working with these like creatures, you know, that we didn't know were there. In this one, every time she was used, it was for a purpose, and it actually worked and added to the story.
Yeah, maybe if the pilot wasn't an hour and a half and was just limited to the 45 minutes, it would have been.
And as of recording this, the last episode that posted on YouTube was Haven. So I actually do want to compliment some of the comments we got. I know, shocker. Because it did actually help me realize a little bit more. I was talked about how with Troy, like, why is she so vague with what she can read when, like, clearly her mom can just, like, read people's thoughts. But it does make sense that with her being half a Betazoid and half human, she's not going to have the full powers, and that's why she's just an empath per se, rather than having like the full powers of a Betazoid like her mother could have. And it actually leads to some really interesting things, like in this episode.
He did know about the life form, but the idea of murder seemed to shock him. Whether it was the whole idea or just being accused of it, I can't tell.
It raises an interesting question where it doesn't figure out every character immediately to where we as the audience immediately know, but it like brings up interesting, like, where are they going to go with this? So yeah, I mean, people said it takes a while for her to get figured out. Maybe whoever wrote this episode doesn't come back for a long time, and they go back to not knowing how to use her, but they nailed it in this one.
Yeah, and that brings up the question, like, would Starfleet ever hire a regular Betazoid? Would that go against, like, their morals? It's like, a regular one is like, like, invading people's thoughts is too much. We can't have her. But, like, knowing, like, she's only half and, like, her abilities are only with more feelings, it's like, okay, I guess we feel better, like, not invading people's thoughts.
And what's even the deal with Betazoids? I mean, would they even join Starfleet? I don't know. Like, what's their situation? You know, I don't know.
Are they all like Troy's mother? Are they all that fucking? You know what I mean? I don't know. That's a good question.
Yeah, because we at this point we just like don't know enough about them yet to even know, like, because obviously with the Vulcans, you know, they do join Starfleet, but like Spock's parents were against him joining, so you know, you don't see a lot of them, but it's interesting.
Yeah, the only two I can remember is the one who died in the motion picture and Spock.
Yeah, I think in the pilot episode of TNG, it like shows a Vulcan.
Yeah,
for like 1
yeah.
second.
Yeah, just to throw us a bone. There you go. You know, there's a Vulcan. Shut up.
But that's been the only one we've seen in the series.
Yeah, exactly. Like the opening, like, oh, look, here's Bones. Here's a Vulcan. You happy? Star Trek's back. Watch our show, please.
I also liked how it presented this whole situation of the terraforming and the consequences of it, but it doesn't take like a firm stance. Like, I never at any point felt like it was banging me over the head with like, terraforming is bad. You know what I mean? Like, these people didn't know that they were killing a whole species on this planet, and then when they find out, the woman is like traumatized by it, and then even the other people are like feel really guilty about it.
Honestly, we did not give it any thought.
Yeah, like the people are like, they notice patterns, but they didn't like stop to ask, like, should we do this? Because you know, they're on a time crunch. You know, it's like, I don't know, it's modern business world, but it's like, something's happening where it's like, okay, these aren't just, you know, random patterns. Like, they're pretty organized patterns here. And like, I don't know. It's like, that's real. Yeah. That's real. That's like, it would have been like so like schlocky if it's like, it's like they weren't gonna stop my progress.
Yeah.
This was gonna put, this is gonna put a Nobel Prize around me.
Yeah.
It's like no, it's like they were like, oh shit.
It's like, that's good. It's like that, people are inherently just like, it's complex, and it's like they're just trying to do their job and all this stuff. Very mature way of presenting it.
Yeah, they feel like real people. It's great. I loved it.
The direction, and whoever the DOP was on the episode, I loved a lot of the camera work in this, and they did a lot of like tight close-up shots on people.
Yeah, super close. And there's a great one that you pointed out with Geordi and Data both in it, where it's like one behind the other. Kind of reminded me of the animated series a little bit, just a little bit, not too much. Where one was like ridiculous.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
If it had been half of Geordi's face, they would have done it. Yeah.
But I gotta say, like every one of these episodes, there's like a new shot that, like, especially with like this one also, where like characters are like walking while talking, and then someone comes in, cut, camera zooms around. Like there's plenty of those where it's like a complicated like routine, like they needed like X's on the floor, timing to be perfect. Like this one had a bunch of those, so kudos to all that.
If there is a weak part of this episode, it's definitely the ending and like the solving the problem. I don't think the show has figured out yet like how to do endings. Like a lot of the endings, they do a great job of setting up this really big problem, and then it'll just be like some weird way to get out of it. Like in this episode,
we mean you no harm. Do you believe me?
Yes.
Okay, that's kind of, it was kind of just like out of nowhere weird, and it was like, all right, I guess they solved it. A lot of the episodes have been like that, but Hammy and TOS had that same problem a lot too, with like the 5 minutes. Get out of
yeah,
here.
we made that comment all the time. 5 minutes, got to come up with a solution. Oh, Bones found a cure, or whatever it was.
All right, it's time now for our patron takes. This is where we take a look at what our patrons thought of the episode, as well as thoughts about what we might think about it and questions for us. We don't read these until right now after watching and discussing the episodes, so we only read a few of them here, but there's a whole discussion over on Patreon you can go check out if you sign up over there.
But we do read all of them.
This is from Cat with Attitude. I always liked this one. It's usually, but not always, interesting when they discover new life forms. I'm not sure if ugly giant bags of mostly water is intended as an insult or an observation. Probably the latter. We didn't mention that. I thought that was hilarious.
Yes, I forgot to mention that. And then for the rest of the episode, they just constantly call them bags.
Ugly bags, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a great little touch. And it works because it is what humans are. So yeah, I like that a lot.
This one's from Talon Starburst. Picard being able to negotiate on the level of Kirk, ... but without having to convince these kind of life forms to destroy itself.
True, yeah. They didn't just blow themselves up.
Gotta appreciate that.
Good touch, yeah. This one's from Badger. Because of this dang episode, I started calling people ugly bags of mostly water, and it really cut into my dating and sex life first. That's funny. He also says, interesting fact, this was the final episode of the series in which Gene Roddenberry acted as head writer. That shocks me, because Gene, of all people, wrote Troy so well in this episode. Yeah, so that is actually shocking to me, and gotta give him credit where it's due, I guess. I really like the writing in this one.
Yeah, good work. All right, I got one from Andreas Schmidt, classic. This is one of the first really great episodes with an interesting concept. It is reminiscent of Devil in the Dark. Yet again, humans are working on a planet, not realizing they are harming indigenous life. I bet this one will end up in your top 5.
I don't know if I would say one of the first really great, because we've liked a lot of them, but definitely, I mean, if we had to make a top 5 right now, I could see this being in there. I definitely enjoyed it quite a bit, and we'll be excited to see if it makes our list or our patrons list at the end of the season, because I really liked it, and it seems like a lot of the patrons so far have liked it as well.
The Serenity moment where like Data's in there with the drill. Like, I'm glad it wasn't like full schlock where he was like, like oh yeah, just like this. But no, like Data would, he just
walked out.
Yeah, it's like, oh yeah, try to kill me. And then it's like, what did you do to my drill? I had no other choice.
You know the edits that go around, like, if this was made in 2008 and it's the Lincoln Park, like, what? Can you imagine, like, the door opening, like, dun, dun, dun.